হ্যালো, শুনতে পান? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So today we have in the last class we have discussed that today we will start array. Okay. So let us start this one. Joined 8 members. Still 9 members are absent. Yeah, is there any reason that students are not attending the classes? Is it the whether the similar type of attendance in other classes also, or it is in this paper only?
So actually, there was a confusion a little bit ago. So Shantika ma'am also scheduled a class from 2 p.m. onwards, but her timetable was from 2:50 onwards. So probably she did some mistake, and that's why she scheduled the class. That's why some student probably got there. So I think they might be coming within a few minutes.
Okay, but in most of the days, the attendance is very poor in this section. Let's start. So what do we understand by array? So I'll just add one blank slide here. So earlier we have discussed different types of data types. So data types means integer, float. So there are different primitive data types. Now we are going to discuss a different data type. This one is array. So what is the purpose of array? So using an array, we can store similar type of data. So multiple data can be stored using an array. Okay. So if we want to store 10 different elements, okay. So to store 10 different elements, one option is we have to declare 10 different integer. If I want to store or work with integer values only, so I have to use 10 different integer variables. Okay. So instead of using 10 integer variables, if I can keep them in a single variable, okay. So if we have homogeneous data type, so homogeneous means using an array we can store similar type of data only. Okay. So how it will be allocated? So it will be allocated in a memory block or memory chunk. So if I want to store 10 elements, so in that way 5, 6, few more spaces will be allocated. So in that way a memory block will be allocated for this array. So if we want to declare a variable int x, so only one block of memory is being allocated and its size is, for integer we can consider that its size is 4 byte, considering size of int as 4 byte. So 4 byte memory will be allocated. So if the address is 2000, so it will allocate the memory 2000 up to 2003. So this bytes or these addresses will be held by this. Okay. Now in case of array, we can declare an array in a different way. So what will be the declaration? So if I want to declare an array and the name of this variable is ARR and size of this variable is 10, so it indicates that using this array ARR we can store 10 elements. So 10 integer values can be stored using this. So how it will be allocated? So if we talk about the positions, so first element will be 0 at index 0. So they can be accessed in that way. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So 10 elements can be stored in this array. Okay, so name of this address is ARR, as we have used the name ARR. So using this array we can hold 10 items, and for each item the data type should be integer. So only integer values can be stored using this array. Okay. Now if I think that the address of this one is 1200, address of ARR is 1200, so that indicates that this first element can be accessed from 1200 address, second element can be accessed, so it can be accessed just it can be accessed as 1204, this one is 1208, third element is 1212. In that way the memory will be allocated. Okay. So if we declare an array, we are going to use a block of memory is being allocated for it. A block of memory will be allocated for it, and this block is basically, it's a contiguous memory allocation. It's a contiguous memory allocation. Why it's contiguous? The reason is the elements which are yeah,
because all the blocks in the memory location, they have the common border.
yeah. So this one is, so it's a contiguous memory allocation. Okay, so if the first item is at 1200 address, then the second item will be at 1204 address if the size of integer is 4 byte, and in that way the elements will be stored. It cannot be stored in that way like first element at 12,000 at 1200 address and second element at 1300 address, not like that. It will be the memory block which is contiguous. So a chunk of memory will be allocated for it. And obviously one more thing you have to mention here, if you want to define an array, it should be homogeneous. Okay, it should be homogeneous. So homogeneous means if you declare an array of integer data type, it can hold only integer values. If you declare an array of floating point numbers, then you can store floating point numbers only. Okay, so this is the way how we can allocate a memory. So what will be the advantage of using it? If I want to store roll number of your each and every student of your batch, so there are 17 students, so we have to declare 17 different variables for storing roll number of each and every student, but it's difficult to remember. So if we can allocate a contiguous memory where 17 roll numbers are being stored in a certain position, so the roll numbers are being kept at a contiguous memory location, so it can be accessed easily and we don't need to remember 17 variable names. So instead of that, we can access it by only one name like this. So in that case, if I want to store the roll numbers, in that case I will use the name of the array as roll number. Okay, so I can declare array as roll number. So for 17 students, I can allocate it in that way. So when a compiler will get this information, it will understand that roll number is an array which can hold 17 elements. So the first element will be stored at address 0, sorry, index 0. Then second element can be accessed by index 1, third, fourth, and that way. So their indexing will be started from 0. Okay. Now, if I know, so how it can be calculated? Let us think in that way, that if I write a program, I'm going to write a program here. So I'm going to declare a variable and it's a numbers. I'll just use nums as array name. I want to allocate their values using this array. Okay. So one way is we can initialize it in this way. Like when we are declaring this array, at the same time, or just okay, wait for a minute, I'll come to that. So we have declared a memory block using this array, so a memory chunk will be allocated. So it will be like this, a memory block will be created. Okay. Now, after creating it, if I want to assign some value, so I want to assign some value. So nums 0 position, sorry, 0 index, I want to store 12. Now, I want to store something like this. So in that way, you can assign the values to a position. Okay. If you want,
Sir, one question, sir.
yeah,
Sir, if we initialize in all in one line, sir, such as second bracket and in between comma, without giving the particular address, sir.
yeah, I have started with that, but just before discussing that part, I am coming here. I will come to that which we have tried to discuss. Okay, just I'm coming back to that position. Okay. So this is a way how we can assign the value. Indicates that num0 will hold 12, num1 will hold 33, like this. Okay. Now, if I want to calculate something like I want to calculate sum of two elements. Okay. First, I can directly write it in printf. So I will print the sum of two elements. So how to calculate it? So nums, I want to calculate sum of the first element plus nums 1, that means the second element of this. Okay. So the operations can be performed in that way. You can access an element by its index. Okay. Now just I will run this program and go back to the previous discussion. So 33 and 12, so if we calculate sum, it will be 45. Okay. Now when we are declaring this array, at the same time we can initialize it. We can initialize it at the same time. If I write like 12, 15, 7, 8, so I have declared the array, at the same time I have initialized it. So you can initialize an array in that way. Okay. So if we initialize it, so it indicates that the 12 will be stored at nums 0, 15 will be stored at nums 1, then nums 2 will hold 6, nums 3 will hold 66, in that way. Okay. So in that way, the memory will be allocated as well as the values will be stored in this array. Okay. So let us try to calculate sum of this number. So if I want to calculate sum of this number, what will be the logic? So one by one element. So at the very beginning, we can declare, we have to store the result. So result, I have to assign 0, otherwise result will hold some garbage value. So I have to assign 0. Now I want to calculate sum of these numbers which are stored in an array. So how to
Sir,
calculate? Yeah.
sir, there is a lot of background noise when you are talking.
Background noise.
Yes, sir.
Is it some? Uh,
Yes, sir. So probably when you are talking, the mic is moving. That's why.
okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it still the noise is there?
No,
No,
sir.
no.
Right now it's very
Now
less.
it's fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I want to calculate sum of these numbers. So if I want to calculate sum of this number, we know that we have learned loops. So we can use for loop or while loop. So let us use for loop. We'll prefer for loop because number of elements which are present in this array is known. Okay, so I want to calculate sum of this. So how many elements are there? So I will declare another variable I, which will be used to control this loop. So I will be initialized by 0 because the first element is being stored in this array at position index 0. Then if I write I less than, we know that number of elements is 10, so it will be less than 10. Then I plus plus. We are starting from 0, that's why I'm writing it's less than 10. So I will go to calculate the sum of these numbers. So result plus equals to nums, and I want to access the element by index I. So at the very beginning of this loop, I equals to 0. So nums 0, that means the first element of this array. In the next iteration, when I equals to 1, then nums 1, that means second element of this array. Then nums 2, nums 3, in that way it will run up to nums nums 9. So the last element of this array. So if it iterates this loop, then finally at the end of this loop we will get the result. So if I want to print this result, I can print it here. So here I will use result. I will print the value of result. So it will give me the output of sum of these numbers. Okay. So is it fine that how to declare an array, how to initialize it, and how to
Yes, sir.
access? Okay. Now, if after declaration, if I want to update this value, so previously at this moment, if I run this program, what is the output? 301. Okay. Now I want to update some values. So say nums 0, I want to update it by, it was 12, now it will be 22, and it's 15, now I want to make it 25. If I run this program, now it will be 321 because the data which is stored at index 1 and 0, those elements are updated. I have updated it. So updated it means it will overwrite the previous value. So if it overwrites the previous value, then we will get the updated value of that position. So that's why it is 321. We have incremented nums 0, the value is 12, we have updated it to 22, and nums 1, it was 15, we have updated it to 25. Okay, so this is the way how you can work with an array. Now I'm coming to this. So if I want to declare this array and I want to take this input from user, so what we can do, I want to take this input from user. So we can declare a for loop, similar for loop, because many elements we have to take as input. So we can declare a for loop to take input from the user. So what is the technique to take input from the user? We know that we have used scanf function. So scanf, the data, what is the data type? Integer. So it will be percentile d. Then in case of
Percent.
scanf, it will be ampersand.
20%.
Yeah, so it will be
Nums
num_size. Yeah. So percentile d for integer data type, ampersand nums I. So ampersand nums I means at nums I index, I want to read this value and store it in nums I. So if I want to do it, so even if we can comment this line, I don't need to initialize it. So if I run this program, it will take some input from the user. Let me check. I'm going to run this program. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 elements, 7 elements, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's fine. Okay, so I have entered 10 elements. Now the result is 192. Okay, so basically when we are declaring an array, a memory block is being created. Just 1 minute please. So here when we are declaring an array, then a memory block is being created. Later on we can take the input from the user. Similarly, if you want to initialize it during declaration, you can initialize it using this phrase. Okay, so this is the way how we can work with an array. So here, before taking this input, we can give some message so that user can understand what to do. Here we can give some message. Enter 10 integer values, so that user will enter 10 integer values. Then the elements will be stored in array, and finally it will calculate the sum and result will be prepared. So we can just write that result is percentile t. Okay, so this is the way how we can work with one-dimensional array. We have just discussed the simplest technique to work with one-dimensional array. Later on we will discuss multi-dimensional array. So any confusion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
well, so if I do not write this block, I'm just commenting this block, this for loop. I'm not going to take any input. What will happen? What will be the output of this program?
Sir, 0, sir.
It will be 0.
Yes, sir. 0.
Let's check. I think you have seen the answer.
Yes, sir.
Why?
So is this a garbage value then?
Yeah, if we don't initialize anything, then it will be garbage. Be very careful. That's why during interview, lots of questions will be given on C programming language. Some code blocks will be given. You have to solve the problem. So it will be garbage. Now, if I write something like, okay, just I'm writing it here, 0. Nothing else. Only 1, 0. What will be the output?
0, sir. First value will be assigned as 0.
whether it is
So
not
garbage.
garbage.
0 হবে স্যার না স্যার একটা তো ভ্যালু অ্যাসাইন করে দিয়েছি তাহলে ওই একটা নিয়ে নেবে
No, no.
ভালো স্যার
Yeah, just wait for a minute. Okay, instead of this, let us, you will get the answer. Now after this nums 10, we have not initialized anything. Now I am assigning nums 0 by 11. Okay, then what will be the answer?
11.
So according to your logic it should be 11, but let's check. It's not 11. So it's a garbage value again.
Sir, if we increase the last value or something, then it will be that value. If we use first value, then it will be a garbage value.
Okay, say so. Then let me declare that I'm going to initialize 9. So now the answer will be 11.
So
No.
if we're declaring it 10 then probably he's taking each value as 0. That's why.
Yeah, so the thing is not like if we assign a value then rest of the elements will be assigned by 0. No, the array will be garbage. Okay, only this element is 11 but rest of the elements are garbage. Let's check. Okay, I'm not writing. Okay, I will write it here. I want to print all the values. Okay, so result will be calculated. So when I'm going to calculate result, now let me print the values. So printf printf percentile d. I will use new line, otherwise the numbers cannot be distinguished. Now I want to print nums I. If I run this program and at the end I will print a result. So you can see that only the element at 10th or 9th index, that means at 10th position the element is 11, rest of the element is garbage. Okay, only the element at this position is 11, rest of the elements are garbage. In different run these values may change. Okay, but if I write this, if I write this, if I write this, it indicates that all the elements of this array will be initialized by 0. So all the elements of the array has been initialized by 0. Now later on I have written one more line that nums 9 will be assigned by 11. That's why 11 is stored at 10th position or 9th index. Okay, any confusion?
No sir.
Okay, now let us try something else. Okay, so is it clear that how to read some input for an array and how to calculate and print something if we want to print the elements? Okay, now I want to print 5th element. I'll just use the previous syntax so that we can go through some. Let us initialize the value. After initialization, now we have the data in this. I'm going to block this comment also. I'm going to comment these lines. So it has been commented. I'll comment this line also. Okay, I want to access fifth element from this array. How can I access fifth element from this array? So I will write printf nums. From which position I want to access it?
4.
Fifth element. So that means the index is 4. The index is not 5. We represent it as index. So it will be 4 to access fifth element. Okay, the value is 73. Let us check what was the value. It's 73. So there is no problem. We can access it in that way. Now, I write. Can I write? Plus 4. What it will be? Nums plus 4. Whether it will compile? Please respond. What do you think?
Sir, it might add 4 plus 12.
4 plus 12. So can you see that what is the output? Nums
Yes,
plus 4. This one is garbage value.
Garbage value again. Yes.
Okay, I'm writing one syntax here, but I'm not going to discuss it. It will be discussed later. But this is just a technique. So this is an alternate way by which we can access it. So, okay, I'm writing it just to show you, not to discuss at this moment. We'll discuss it later. Nums plus 4. Can you see that fifth element is being
Yes, sir.
printed?
Now it's
Sir, this
okay,
is
yes.
operator.
Okay, I will discuss it later, not at this moment, because this thing is, it will be discussed in pointer. Okay, so nums plus 4. Now, if I write one thing, I can show you here. Sorry. Nums 4 is 73. Now, 4 nums. It will compile and
So দুটো ফার্স্ট ব্র্যাকেট হয়ে গেছে।
it will compile and it will print the same element. Okay, the syntax is not wrong. So nums 4, or if I write 4 nums, the same thing, it represents the same thing. Okay, so it will point to the same element. Remember it, but the use is limited. Generally the thing is avoided due to many reasons. I will show you when I will discuss pointer, not at this moment. Okay, so this is the way how to access an element. Now we have, during the beginning of the class, we have talked about that the array which is being allocated, its memory is contiguous. I should prove that the memory is contiguous. Okay. So let me run this loop. I will run this loop and I will print the address of the elements. So instead of printing %d, I want to print address. So address will be unsigned integer. So I have to use unsigned %u. Now I want to print address. So if I want to print address, it will be ampersand of nums I. Using ampersand, we can access its address. So let me check what happens. Can you see the address? The first
Yes.
address is 6356. 704. Then next address is 8, 12, 16. In that way. So memory is contiguous. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
The
sir.
allocation is contiguous. Okay. So if we declare an array, then its memory allocation will be obviously contiguous memory allocation. Now, okay, we don't have sufficient time. We have approximately 5 minutes in our hand. Okay, so this is a contiguous memory allocation. Now, okay, so if an array is given, then one more thing I want to discuss before concluding it. If I want to allocate a memory block, so we can perform different type of operation on an array. I will give you some problem statement that you have to calculate sum of the elements. You have to calculate, you have to find whether an element is present in this array or not. So this type of problems will be given. And one problem you will get that you have to sort the elements in ascending order or descending order. So in this array, the elements are not sorted, so we have to sort them in ascending or descending order. So some algorithms are there which will be discussed later on. So using an array, we can store some data. Okay. Now, if I want to allocate a memory, say in this array, I have 10 elements. Can I store more than this number of elements?
No, sir.
So, so what we have to do? We have to increase the
Yeah.
memory size. Okay. Now, if I increase the memory size, if I want to store 15 elements, so we have to increase the size. But when you are writing a program, then the program, you will not share your source code. You will compile the code, and the compiled code, that means the executable file or a.out file, this file will be shared with your friends or some other person. So if you want to share this thing, you don't want to share your source code, but you can share your application which you have developed. So the compiled code can be shared. Now, after getting this compiled code, whether a user can open this source code and do the required modification. In your program, you have written that this program can calculate sum of 10 elements. But I need to calculate sum of 15 elements. But I don't have the source code, and even if I have the source code, as a computer science engineer, we can understand that where we have to do the changes. But if you share this program with your friend who is studying in literature honors, is it possible that he or she will open the code, do the changes, and use it for his or her own purpose?
No, sir.
It's not a feasible idea. Okay, so what we can do, we need to give a user a dynamic allocation. So dynamic allocation means, so if we can provide that a technique by which the user can allocate a memory block based on his or her requirement. Okay, so it can be solved. So if I say that I will declare an integer value, variable n. Okay, I'm going to declare an integer variable n. I will print a message for the user. Print a message for the user that enter size of the array. If anyone is familiar with this, please wait for a minute. Size of the, don't need to comment at this moment. Oh, size of the array. Okay, so if I take size of the array as input, so I will use scanf. So if I use, if I use scanf percentile t, and I will read it in variable n, size of the array. Now I am going to declare size of the array like this. So I am going to declare array in this way. After declaring this array, I want to give the user permission to enter number of elements. So how many elements the user can enter? So enter how many elements? Percentile d integer values. Okay. So the user will enter n number of elements. Then finally, it will calculate sum. It will read the values from the user. After reading the values, now it will calculate sum of the numbers. So how long this loop will run? It will run up to n times, because n number of elements are stored. It will run n times. Finally, it will print the sum. It will print the sum. Okay. You may think that using this technique, we can solve the problem. Now, if the user when the user will run this program at the beginning, if user says that I want to add 5 numbers, so he will enter the value of n as 5. It will allocate the memory. It will do this calculation, and finally it will print the result. Okay. Now let me run this code. Enter size of the array. I am writing size of the array is 6. Enter 6 integer values. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is showing that the result is 21. You can check this value. Result is 21. 6 plus 5, 11, 15. Yeah, the value is 21. So, do you have any confusion here?
No, sir.
No. But I want to say that never use this technique. This program will not run on every system. Though in my case, in my machine, the program is running, but this is not the way how to allocate dynamic memory. So never use this syntax in your program. If you declare array, you will face the problem in future. I want to show you that it is dependent on system. That's why I am showing it here. You can't declare an array where parameter, its size will be taken from user. In this program, we are using a technique where we can take the value of n as input, and we are allocating the array based on this value. Okay, and we are calculating something, but never use this. You should never use this technique. For dynamic memory allocation, we have a different technique which we have to apply. This technique will not work on different machines. Okay, so you should avoid it. Okay, and obviously you should not use it. I should say this, you should not use it. Do you have any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
why are we using percent %u to print the address and not %p?
Okay.
%u is unsigned integer, so it should not print a pointer.
If you use instead of %u, if you use %d,
No, P, sir.
p,
Sir.
I have not discussed all of these symbols. We have. So here you are getting this address in hexadecimal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So according, so how the addresses are stored in system memory. So in that same way you are printing it. No, I have not used for any specific reason. I have just used here to tell you that the values are basically integer. It's a 64-bit. You can't see that. Oh, I have. You have to revert it and check it. So it's a 64-bit architecture. So on 64-bit architecture, integer value is 4 byte. Addresses are also 4 byte. Okay. So if the addresses are 4 byte, then it can be, the value can be stored in an integer variable. But if we use %d, because address is non-negative always, so it's an unsigned integer. So if the address is unsigned integer, then as address is unsigned integer, we have to print it by %. We can't use %d, because in case of unsigned integer, when you are going to print it using the signed pattern, then it may show you negative value. Okay, but to get the actual hexadecimal code of the address, you have to use %p. Many symbols are there. We will discuss it later, and gradually we will understand that where you have to use which one. But still now we have discussed only 3 things. One is %d, %c, oh, once probably %f and %u. But many things are there. Even for integer, it's not only %d, there are some other symbols. We will discuss the things in print formatter, print and scan formatter. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. So good. Next class has been started, so I'll stop at this moment. We are already late. Thanks for attending.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.